Hi everyone, it's Renee with the DIY Day, and today I'm going to share with you 8 simple ways to decorate your holiday mail envelopes. Rather than leave them plain and white, I'll share several different ways on how to make them really pop. So let's get started. This method is likely the easiest, most cost-effective, and simplest way of decorating your holiday mail. It's so easy, even your kids can help you with it. All you need is some decorative washi tape. All you want to do is take off a strip and seal your envelope with it. And that's it. It's pretty simple, right? For this method of decorating your holiday mail, you're going to need your hot glue gun. You're also going to need these glitter glue sticks for the hot glue gun. This is what the packaging looks like. And I got these at the Dollar Tree in the kids' arts and crafts section. And you're also going to need some snowflake rhinestones. And I think I got these at either Walmart or Michael's, but this is what they look like. Here's what you're going to do. After addressing your envelope and allowing your hot glue gun to heat up, you're going to put one of the glue sticks into the chamber and then put a big circle of glue right down the center where your envelope is sealed. While your glue is still hot, you're going to want to take your snowflake rhinestone and put it right smack down in the center of the glitter and then push it down. Just a word of warning, this method may increase the cost of postage since everything is done by weight, so keep that in mind, as well as it's best to take these envelopes, the ones with the seals, into the post office to get them hand canceled by a post office employee, just so these don't clog up their machines. Another way to decorate your holiday mail is by adding a liner to the inside of your envelope. Now here I have a leftover piece of scrapbook paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it right on the inside of the envelope and keeping it right below the lick line of where the envelope seals. So I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to mark right on the inside of the right side of this scrapbook paper, as well as I'm going to place a mark right here where the envelope folds over, so this part of the envelope. So my lines are in place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper trimmer and then I'm going to cut this line right over here. And then I'm going to take the paper creaser portion of the scrapbook paper and make a crease. Now you could crease it by hand too, but this way is more accurate. So I'm going to make the crease line. And then see how it folds. And then I'm going to take my envelope, place the scrapbook paper inside. I'm going to line up the crease from the scrapbook paper with the crease of the envelope, so they close together. So I'm going to grab my glue, take the liner out, place some glue, make sure to get the corners and the edges, and then place this back inside of the envelope. And then just line up the crease of the scrapbook paper with the envelope. Make sure they close. And then that is how I add a liner to my envelopes. And it closes nicely. For this method, rather than use a standard white envelope, I decided to create one using my envelope punch board. And I'll include a link right here so you can see how this punch board works. But this is the results. And once I fold it, it turns into an envelope. So anyway, let's get started on this method. I'll be using the Perfect Pearls Confetti White Shimmer Powder. This is by Ranger, and this usually comes in a set with Perfect Medium as well as the brush. I will also be using the Snowflake stamps by Art C, as well as the acrylic block to hold the stamps. This method is a really simple way to decorate your envelopes. What I'm going to do is remove the stamp from the liner, place it on the acrylic block. I'm going to take the Perfect Medium and apply it to the stamp. And then take the stamp and place it anywhere on the envelope. I'm going to put it right here. Then what you're going to do is take the Perfect Pearls, take your brush, dust it off, just so there's a little bit of shimmer powder on it, and then apply it directly to the snowflake. You can kind of see the image starting to appear. And then if you need more powder, just dip your brush in and apply it again. Then let's remove this stamp and add another one. Take this snowflake, put it on the acrylic block, add some of the Perfect Medium, stamp the image, and then take the brush, add some powder to it, and then apply it to the image. And then with your brush, just brush off any excess powder that might be surrounding the stamped snowflake. And to set the image, you're going to want to spray a little bit of water right on top of the image. And again, I just did a couple light spritzes of water on top of the snowflakes, but once everything dries, you'll be good to address your envelope. And then look how cool this looks, because it's sparkly. Shimmery, I should say, not sparkly. For this method, I'm going to share with you how to stencil emboss onto your envelopes. For this, you're going to need a stencil. You're going to need embossing ink, a blending tool with the foam. You're going to need embossing powder, as well as a heat gun. And for this envelope, I did use my envelope punch board, and I made this tiny 3x3 envelope. And if you want to learn more about embossing, I have a very detailed class over on Skillshare, and I'll include a link down below in the caption. So here's my envelope. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my stencil right on top. Then I'm going to take my embossing ink pad, and this is by Ranger. I'm going to take my blending tool, dip it into the embossing powder, into the embossing ink pad. And then I'm going to just go over the stencil like this. make sure you cover all the areas. Then I'm going to take my embossing powder, sprinkle it right on top of the area that you had placed the embossing ink. Then grab your piece of paper and empty the excess embossing powder. Pour it right in there. Put this back into the jar. Close the lid. If there's any embossing powder in areas you don't want it, just take a brush and just brush it off. Then you're going to take your heat gun and set the image. And in case you were wondering, a heat gun is needed for heat embossing. A blow dryer does not get hot enough. So here's the completed embossed deer. You can see how shimmery it is. And here are some standard size envelopes using that same stencil embossing method. And now I'm going to show you another embossing method, but this time instead of using stencils, I'm going to show you how to do it with the stamp. I'm going to take the same exact embossing ink pad and a peppermint stamp. Add some ink to the stamp, then stamp the image right onto the envelope. I'm going to take some red embossing powder, and this is by Ranger, and sprinkle it right on top of the stamped image. Then I'm going to pour the remaining excess powder onto this sheet of paper. Oops, this one didn't get covered well enough. Then I'm going to pour the remaining powder back into the container. I'm going to put the lid back onto the embossing ink just so it doesn't dry out. I'm going to brush off any stray embossing powder. Then I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to set the embossing powder or melt it. And here are the embossed peppermints. Here's another easy way to decorate your envelopes, and that's using actual wax seals and wax. Wax seals come in all different shapes, sizes, and designs. Here are all my holiday ones. This one's a tree, here's Santa, here's an angel. Here is the words Merry Christmas with antlers, a bow, as well as a snowflake. And then here's another one that says Merry Christmas, and then of course we have a snowman. Here's how I do my wax seals. So I have my candle here, and then I have my wax seal spoon, and then I'm going to put the wax in the spoon. I'm using two different colors. One's a yellow gold, and then one's like a dark gold color. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And then I just put it over the heat and let it melt. And this takes a little bit, so I'm going to speed up the process. It took about a minute, 10 seconds to melt the wax completely. So now I'm going to put this on the envelope and then apply the wax seal to it. Now you can leave it as it is, or you could take a silver metallic Sharpie and color it in. For this next method of dressing up your holiday mail, I will be using Distressed Ink by Ranger. This is Candied Apple, washi tape, and a brush. With my washi tape, I'm going to create diagonal stripes along the front of the envelope. Next, I'm going to take my Distress ink, and this color is Candied Apple. Take my brush, get some ink, and apply it to the front of the envelope. To avoid getting any ink on the edges, just use a Post-it note to block it. And then you can apply your ink. And it won't go over the crease of the envelope. Now that the envelope is covered in the Candied Apple Distress ink, let's remove the washi tape. And here's the completed striped candy cane theme envelope. Thank you so much for following along on my tutorial on how to decorate your holiday mail. If you've liked what you've seen, please like and subscribe below. And for more crafting ideas, please visit my website at thediyday.com. Thank you and happy holidays.